welcome back to BeachEats. I have one thing I want to say. I know we've been doing cast iron skillet cooking, but a lot of this stuff, if you don't have a cast iron skillet at home, do not be afraid to use non-stick. I'm not a chemist, but I know that non-stick today is a lot better than Teflon of the past and safer and easier to use. And it's just a nice way to sear stuff, and stuff doesn't stick. You know, and you ever cook something at home and it sticks to the pan or the grill, it's very important. Pans need to be hot. You cannot put something cold in a cold pan. You can put something cold, you know, in a hot pan with hot oil, and you don't go and pour oil. You don't take a pan and heat it up, put oil in it, and then put something right in it. You got to let the oil heat up too, and that's what helps create a great sear, and it also is what helps, you know, things not to stick. But if you have issues with sticking, good heavy non-stick pan is a good way to go, and it's also a very safe way to do a cooking class. It's like guarantees. If I'm like doing an omelet or something with eggs, I'm using non-stick. So, but anyways, we've done all this stuff. One of the important things about this is, like, I've got like the onions, I've got the tomatoes. The tomatoes I can do 2 days ahead of time. The onions will last for weeks. I like to cook and do things ahead of time, so that when I'm having people over or we're having a picnic or a cookout, it's basically all I need to do is cook a steak or a scallop. You know, that's all I really need to do. Everything else is done and ahead of time, and it's got so many uses. This is the adult part of the show, where you see these berries, and this is like fruit, it's for dressing. If you wanted to, you go to the beach with this and you just open a bottle of white wine and pour it in here, and you'd have a phenomenal sangria, especially with the syrup that's already been generated here. Take it a step further. You take this and puree it in a blender, and you have a berry mojito. You have berry mojito. You can make a berry martini, just a berry soda. Like I don't drink, so what I do is I take stuff like this. It's dessert one night, but then it's a smoothie the next day. Or I puree it and put it in a glass with soda water and lemon or lime, and I've got a great berry soda. Or that's because it's got sugars in it and fruit. You know, you puree it, it lasts for a while, and then you can do like anything with it. That right here, you know, maybe take the lemon juice out, is phenomenal on French toast or pancakes. So there's the cool thing about what I do here is everything can be used 100 different ways. You can puree this and put it in a bowl, and it's fruit soup. It's great as soup with a little bit of lemon or lime. It's a great dessert, a soup dessert. Here, you put this in little espresso cups after dinner, and you know, there's a little hit of fruit afterwards. It's great. So that's the good part about this. And then I have got to, now you remember this had steak on it. I'm going to use it, so you know, if anybody wants to try it, fine. But it did have steak on it, so I'm going to just show you how to do this. So you're at the picnic, and all of a sudden you have your fruit salad poured out on a plate like that, and then you have the fresh mint, and just put it all over the place. So that is your fruit salad, and then it can go right back into a blender and become, like right now, that's the mix for a mojito. So, you know, there's so many things you can do with that. And then, you know, I've got the tomato here, and now here's something that I love, and I think that anybody here should try it, and it's very easy because I'm really into like hot and cold stuff. Once it goes, you have a nice steak, but then like fresh produce. I'm trying to, I know I say this, but I'm trying to stay away from French fries. So I'm doing this whole like fresh fruit thing. So you have steak that comes out, and you just, what I would do with this is I would mix some blue cheese, because I love blue cheese with steak, and come in here and top this with some tomatoes and a little bit of this juice like that, which is now not just oil. It's not just oil. It's now like a tomato vinaigrette. And you see, that's another picture, man. You got to get on this one too. So that, and then I'd flip the top up here. Got my pickled onions, which I'll take a couple out right now just so you can see them. Put a pickled onion in there. This is good. This is good. So little turn there. That's come on, get over there. Boom. So you know, a little pickled onion, tomato salad on a steak, so you got real fresh, you got some acid in there. It's gonna zing. Bay leaf, I love bay leaf on everything. Have the scallops here. What I'll do with the scallops, I was gonna try something else. I think my knife is kind of sharp. I got a yellow tomato here. I'm just gonna cut it 1/4 inch like this, lay it on its side. And I wanna cut everything the same size as the outside, so it's kind of straight. And I'll just go little cubes like this and go in here. And now all of a sudden we have a little yellow tomato salad on top of here, on top of the scallops. Do that. If I had, let's say this was basil right here. You take the basil, you know, the big leaves, and you lay them on top of each other. And there's a few people here that'll, oh, I'm getting bad. There's a few people here that don't understand this. And you roll it like this. You roll it really tight and shave it down. That's how you shave and create a chiffonade. Did anybody get my joke? Okay. It's been 20 years though. Okay. So we're pretending this is basil, and you put it on top here. I mean, the mint will be great too. Mint goes great with tomato, and you just throw this down on there. I'd hit it. I mean, that's again, that looks good. So, and I just made that up. So, that's called improvising. But anyways, mint. This one isn't at my restaurant. We do steak. With the porterhouse, we do it with the strip with marinated tomatoes. It's a special. You can get it at some of the restaurants. Sometimes it's on all the time. It's not a menu item. Sometimes things are like too special to put on a menu, and you put them on certain nights. And we do like Northeast and Catch do lots of like backyard picnic style stuff on Sundays, Mondays, Tuesdays, things like that. So you'll find a dish like that. The scallops are everywhere, and they're always done with the fresh set, but everybody doesn't do the same thing, but the same concept. Fresh, farm fresh, market fresh, like we call it market style, farmer's market style, where we buy these great fresh ingredients at the market and put them together, and you never know when they're on a menu, because all the chefs, one of the other things that we do, you know, we go to the farmers markets. All the chefs have an allowance. They're not forced. They love to do it. I think it's really cool to go to the local farmers market. Like Lupo goes to Rehoboth Farmers Market, you know, Fish On goes to Lewis. Blue Coast in Northeast and Catch will go to like Bethany and Fenwick and the local farms. And so it's whatever's growing, whatever's available. So we can't set some of this stuff all the time. You know, fluctuation in meat prices, because we want to give you great priced product. Beef will go through the roof sometimes, and I'm not going to sell you a steak for 40 bucks. You know, so what we do is just this stuff just depends on the market and what the market will bear at that time. Now it's strawberries and blueberries growing up in Wyoming, Delaware at Pfeiffer Orchard, which is, if you're ever going up north and you get the chance to go into Wyoming, it's right off one. Is one of the most beautiful pieces of property I've ever seen in my life. And you can tour that farm, that apple orchard. It's like 800 acres of just pure beauty. It's really, really cool. Reminds me a lot of being in Napa Valley. So like I said, it just depends on what the market bears. So these guys will go and they'll see, you know, wild mushrooms from Kennett Square, which is one of the mushroom capitals of the world. And that day, you know, for the next 2 or 3 days, it's wild mushrooms that they got. So it just depends, you know, what restaurant and what they got at the market that day. So anyways, that's it for today. I don't think I'm really forgetting anything, and I just want to thank you all for coming down.